Welcome to IT Projects. My name is Michael Erskine, and in this short lesson, you will learn to identify projects, understand the role of project management, and discover the value of various project management approaches. Moreover, we'll be covering defining project management, a brief history of project management, the value of project management, and the benefits of adopting project management approaches. But first, let us define a project. The project management body of knowledge describes project management as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. The key terms are temporary and unique. So every project is temporary. In other words, every project has a definite beginning and a definite end. And every project is unique. That means that the resulting product or service is different in some distinguishing way from all other similar products or services. Projects are not always strategic, critical, or successful. So this will never be used to define a project. Another term that you might hear when defining a project is progressively elaborated. Progressive elaboration simply means that you learn more about the project as the project goes on, or more specifically, as you collect more data, you'll have to make decisions about the project as it moves forward. So finally, keep in mind that if an endeavor is ongoing and repetitive, the opposite of temporary and unique, it would be considered to be a part of operations management, not project management. So again, the words you're looking for are temporary and unique. Okay, so let's take a look at a few examples. Let's consider designing and developing a new car for mass production by next May. Here we'll look at whether this endeavor is temporary, unique, and progressively elaborated. As there's a deadline of next May, we know that this effort is temporary. We also know that the new coupe will certainly be unique from even similar models from the same manufacturer. And finally, we know that as the design evolves, decisions will need to be made. In other words, the task is progressively elaborated. Using our benchmark of temporary, unique, and progressively elaborated, this is clearly a project. Now let's look at a second example. You've been tasked with meeting the production goals for compact cars in key Asian markets. There is no start or end date, and the production will certainly be repetitive. This example refers to operations management, not project management. Now, for our third example, you've been tasked with improving the kitchen layout for a quick service restaurant with a goal of a 200% improvement of food preparation efficiency by the first quarter of the fiscal year. This effort will be temporary and unique, so we would consider this a project. What about this example? Let's assume that you've been hired by a quick service restaurant. You've been tasked to deliver 10,000 daily meals with less than 10 complaints each day across all the restaurant chain locations. This task is not temporary, and this task is not unique. So this would be another example of operation management. So you might be wondering why it's essential to identify if the effort is a project or not. Well, there are many reasons, but the processes, tools, and procedures used in project management are quite different than those used in operations management. Furthermore, it would be difficult to establish the success of the operation. The most popular project success measures assess whether a project was completed within budget, by the deadline, or if it delivered the expected scope and quality. If there's no end date to the task, such metrics can't be used. You might be surprised. There are many IT professionals who consider themselves to be project managers, but who are not actually managing true projects. Now that we have a clear and unambiguous definition for a project, let's define project management. There are essentially two major components to project management. First is the application of knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Second is that project management follows well-defined processes to complete the project. These processes may include initiation, planning, execution, controlling and monitoring, as well as closing a project. Project management also involves more than just a project manager. Project management generally will involve a team that will need to manage competing demands for scope, time, cost, risk, and quality. The team will also need to manage stakeholders with very different needs and expectations. And the team will manage the identification of the project requirements. Going back to our earlier examples, we identified the development of a new vehicle to be produced by next May as a project. What are some examples of scope, time, cost, risk, and quality demands that could impact this project? So thinking of a few, scope could include the features of the new vehicle. Time could include key milestones necessary to reach production. Cost could include the vehicle's development cost. Risk could include going over budget, but also external influences such as market instability or changing consumer tastes. And quality demands are that the final design meets the expectations of a Cadillac customer. Maintenance procedures are the ones that dealerships prefer, and the engineering is something that simplifies the final production. As you can see, there are a lot of stakeholders to a project, and many of them might not be immediately evident. Let's look back at another project and consider the stakeholders that might be involved. Who would be the stakeholders for the kitchen improvement project, and what are their differing needs and expectations? Executives would want to see improvements in operational efficiency. The project manager would want to meet all the project metrics. Kitchen staff would want higher satisfaction and simplification of their jobs. Cleaning staff would want new equipment that's easy to clean. Installers would want good equipment instructions and installation procedures that are straightforward. Equipment designers would want to use existing designs to keep their costs low. Fire marshals will want to see safety equipment that's functional and properly installed. And customers would want to see no negative impact on the taste and quality of the food. So, even if the initial project goal is a 200% improvement in food preparation efficiency, and this is achieved, the impact could still be negative to the other stakeholders of the project. Now that you know what project management is, let's take a look at how long civilizations have been applying and using project management. While project management has gained enormous popularity due to technical projects, project management is not a new concept. The Old Kingdom of Egypt is known for perfecting pyramid building, particularly the pyramids of Giza, built by Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. And there's evidence demonstrating that project management principles were used at the time. Similarly, about 2,000 years later, there's evidence of project management concepts being used by Sun Tzu's China. Far more recently, there's evidence of project management being used for the planning of the 1893 World's Fair, the construction of the Mount Rushmore Monument, and what's now called Hoover Dam. Modern project management processes were used and refined during the Polaris and Apollo programs of the 1950s and 1960s. Finally, in the early 2000s, agile project methods were developed with a focus on software development projects that could be delivered incrementally. Finally, let's discuss the benefits of adopting project management in an organization. So you may be wondering, what value does project management bring to an organization? Keeping in mind that different types of organization seek different forms of value creation, project management allows organizations to achieve strategic goals and thereby create value. As a project manager, it's important to keep in mind what value represents the organization you're currently working with, and continue to reiterate and revalidate how the project you are working on is creating such value for the organization throughout the project effort. There are many reasons for choosing project management approaches, but the primary benefits of project management include risk reduction. Some recent research even found that a company's stock price can drop if a failed project becomes known to the general public. An example of this would be the recent Boeing 737 MAX scandal. Project management raises awareness of a project's costs, risks, complexities, and benefits, and allows the organization and the project team to respond to changes far more effectively than without project management. There are several benefits for adopting project management approaches. Organizations that implement effective project management find quicker completion of projects, more effective execution of the work, more reliable cost and scheduling, reduced risks, and reduced costs. Achieving these benefits presents an opportunity for the organization to recognize project goals earlier, reduce wasted resources by more effectively leveraging resources, and even increasing reputation or their market share. In the short lesson, you learn to identify projects, understand the role of project management, and discover the value of various project management approaches. Thank you for watching IT Projects. I hope you'll consider exploring additional IT project management topics in this series.